I'm going to read a little bit from Crank for you first, and I want to read from Crank because I think when I read how I think my poetry should sound, wait a minute, first of all, let me say this, because this is a question I get. So is that poetry? Yes, it is. It's narrative verse is what I would call it. Narrative verse it's kind of an ancient art form, actually, only if you think about like Chaucer and Homer and Shakespeare and all those kind of not quite as interesting authors. It's been around a while. But so I think, I have a rhythm when I write it that I'm not sure that you always hear. So if I read a little bit of this to you, I think you will get kind of an idea of how it sounds to me when I write it. And so when you read it, hopefully that will come across in kind of a subconscious fashion. So Crank is my first novel, and it continues to be a huge best-selling book. The book is now over 2 million copies in print in 8 languages around the world. Wow. I'm going to Frankfurt in the middle of October, where the book came out in German a year ago. It's a top 5 finalist for the biggest juvenile literature award in Germany, and they're flying me out there. I guess really the point of that is that addiction is something that touches lives, not just here, but around the world. It touches, I think addiction of some type touches every life. Maybe not this addiction, but some kind of addiction. And I think it's something that, for a long time people didn't want to look at, they didn't want to think about, they didn't want to admit happened to their family, which probably is why this book in 2010 was the #4 most challenged book in the US. And I was the most challenged author in the US. Yes, I was. I know. You guys are radical. So this is Flirting with the Monster. Life was good before I met the monster. After, life was great, at least for a little while. So you want to know about me, who I am, what chance meeting of brush and canvas painted the face you see, what made me despise the girl in the mirror enough to transform her, turn her into a stranger, only not. So you want to hear the whole story, why I swerved off the high road, hard left to nowhere, recklessly indifferent to those coughing my dust, picked up speed, no limits, no top end, just a high velocity rush to madness. Alone, everything changes. Some might call it distorted reality, but it's exactly the place I need to be. No mom, Marie, ever more distant in her midlife quest for fame. No stepfather, Scott, stern and heavy-handed with unattainable expectations. No big sister, Lee, caught up in a tempest of uncertain sexuality. No little brother, Jake, spoiled and shameless in his thievery of my niche. Alone, there is only the person inside. I've grown to like her better than the stuck-up husk of me. She's not quite silent, shouts obscenities just because they roll so well off the tongue. Not quite straight A, but talented in oh so many enviable ways. Not quite sanitary, farts with gusto, picks her nose, spits like a guy. Not quite sane. Sometimes, to tell you the truth, even I wonder about her. Alone, there is no perfect daughter, no gifted high school junior, no Christina Georgia Snow. There is only Bree. On Bree. I suppose she's always been there, vague as a soft copper pulse of moonlight through blossoming seacoast fog. I wonder when I first noticed her, slipping in and out of my pores, hide-and-seek spider in fieldstone, red-bellied phantom. I summon Bree, when dreams no longer satisfy, when gentle clouds of monotony smother thunder when Christina cries. I remember the night I first let her go. Open the smeared glass, one thin pane, cellophane, between rules and sin freed. So this is Crank.